Miata, maybe.
A Miata? You could buy a fucking Miata for like $12.
Didn't you own a Miata?
Yeah, and I paid about $12 for it.
I was going to say, what happened? You sold it. I think you traded it.
Oh, yeah. I would say 5 months would be the longest I would keep a car, and then I would move on to the next one and modify it, and then get rid of it, and blah, 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 and I moved on and on.
Such a waste of money.
No, I traded a lot of them. A lot of them were even trades.
Yeah.
But I'm trading up.
Did you, though? Because what's that little tracker thing that you have?
You
Is that gone?
don't talk shit about my Suzuki X90. That fucking thing got me everywhere. Welcome back to Hot Mess Murder Club. This week, we're diving into a story that is so batshit insane, so utterly unhinged, I had to ask, what the hell was that? And joining me, as always, is the only person I would absolutely block after the third unanswered call, my dearest Holly. And you know I'm going to ask you, Holly, how are you?
3 missed calls? Don't lie, Kat. You would block me while the first call is still ringing. You ignored my calls today. Like, I called you twice while we were getting ready to start this. I messaged you like 4 times. I looked like the needy girlfriend who was being ignored. And that didn't sit right with me. So get your shit together and figure it the fuck out. We have a show to do.
Okay, first of all, I need you to admit something to our beautiful listeners. What was the rule that I gave you when it comes to calling me?
That I'm not allowed to call you unless I'm in the hospital or dying.
That's right. And since you were just saying, should I eat first or should we start? I figured you weren't either one of those things.
But when I call you, it's usually for a purpose. I very rarely call you just to talk shit. Usually we send messages to each other to talk shit.
I just wanted to clarify the rule for everybody so people didn't think that I was just being mean to you.
I mean,
anyways,
you're an asshole.
Yes. Gasp. So today we're talking about Dave Kroupa, Liz Golyer, and Carrie Farver. And when this story starts, it does not look like a murder case. It looks like dating in your 30s, which quite frankly can feel just as fucking dangerous. So let's get into it. So this week we are headed to Omaha, Nebraska, circa 2012. Now, this is not a crime-ridden metropolis, not some smoky noir alley where everyone wears trench coats and pretends to be hardcore. This is just a steady Midwestern life. Apartment complexes with beige siding and auto shops that smell like oil and burnt coffee. Online dating profiles are written with cautious optimism and filtered selfies are taken in truck cabs. Enter our bachelor, Dave Kroupa. He is divorced, he's a mechanic, he's a father. He'd moved to Omaha for a reset. He wanted a new city, a new job, and just a new routine in general. This was the prime example of a move that people make when they're trying to outrun the wreckage of an old relationship without admitting that that's what they're doing. He soon joins Plenty of Fish, an online dating site, because that's what adults do when they want companionship, but not commitment. God bless Plenty of Fish. That's all I have to say. And in his profile, he is crystal clear. He does not want serious. He does not want to move in. He does not want forever. He just wants casual, which historically has never once gone wrong. LOL. So Omaha in the spring is pretty harmless. It's the kind of Midwest spring where nothing catastrophic feels possible. The lawns are trimmed, Call Me Maybe was blaring through everyone's car stereos, and the times were generally good. And in the middle of all that pleasant normalcy, Dave Kroupa is 34 years old and newly single. He's a father of 2, recently divorced, but not in a dramatic furniture-throwing, lawyer-screaming kind of way. They just grew apart. Life happened. It's the kind of breakup that's almost boring in its civility. And he moves across the river from Council Bluffs, Iowa, to Omaha. Not far enough to reinvent himself completely. I mean, he's not fleeing to Bali or anything. But it is far enough that he doesn't have to drive past old memories every single day. We've all been there, and that fucking sucks. So now he's got a new apartment with just him and his sparse furniture. The kind of quiet that feels good for about 2 weeks before you realize you need some kind of company. Now, during the day, he manages a Big O Tires, and the place smells like oil and brake dust and whatever's left at the bottom of the gas station coffee pot. But it's steady work, it's predictable, cars in, cars out. Really, it's nothing exciting. His personal life, and he decides to keep that pretty simple too. And spoiler alert, that will prove to be no easy endeavor. So he does what everyone did in 2012. He joined that Plenty of Fish. Not looking for a soulmate, not trying to blend families or share mortgages. He just wants company, conversation, someone to sit across from at dinner who isn't asking about custody schedules. And that is when he matches with Shanna Liz Golier. She goes by Liz for some reason, but I'm not really going to fucking worry about it. Her profile is bright, friendly, confident smile, and she's a single mom too. She works as a house cleaner and seems to know what she wants in life and in a partner. They exchange messages, and it's nothing dramatic, and there's no fireworks or love at first DM. It's just an easy back and forth, hey, how are you kind of energy. So they decide to meet at a local restaurant. Holly, why don't you tell us how that goes?
Well, they meet on a Tuesday night in May at a restaurant. They meet on
All right. Elmer fucking Fudd over here.
They meet on a Tuesday night in May at a restaurant that smells faintly like fryer oil and lemon disinfectant. Nothing romantic, but honestly, that's the kind of vibe that he was going for. Dave gets there first. He's early. He checks his phone twice and then pockets it like he's not nervous. Liz walks in a few minutes later, dark hair pulled back, confident stride, easy smile. She spots him immediately and walks over like she already knows the room belongs to her. Liz laughs easily. She leans in when he talks. She has follow-up questions. She holds eye contact just a second longer than most people do. It makes him feel interesting, seen. Sound familiar? Kind of like old John Meehan vibes? But don't make too many assumptions just yet. Only make a few. Either way, Dave likes the vibe. And halfway through the conversation, somewhere between appetizers and second drinks, Dave decides to be upfront. He's trying to set boundaries. He doesn't want anyone confused later, including himself. So he says it. He says, I'm not looking for a wife. I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm just looking for some fun. He says it calmly, unapologetically, and just a boundary laid out like a folded napkin on the table. And then he waits for the shift in her demeanor. The disappointment, the, oh, so you're that guy look. Well, instead, Liz smiles and says, that's fine, because she's not looking for anything serious either. She just wants to enjoy life. No drama and no expectations. And Dave is thrilled. Because honestly, when someone repeats your limits back to you, it feels like compatibility. Like you found an adult who understands the rules. They leave the restaurant that night without a plan for the future. No what are we talk, no next weekend promises, just the quiet understanding that this is light, casual, and possibly temporary.
Yeah, I bet that was actually pretty refreshing to hear when he was like, no, I don't want an actual girlfriend. I just want someone to fuck every once in a while. You cool with that?
I feel like every girl is going to say the right thing in that, like right away, though. That's just how they are. They're going to say the right thing to keep them interested, because if they show signs of disappointment right off the bat, they know that they're going to lose that target. Like, you like how you call them a target? They're going to lose that right away. Realistically, no girls, that's, I don't want to say no girl. There's some pretty dumb bitches out there. Most women don't do that right off the bat.
Well, they don't want to put off that uptight vibe. So like, yeah, that's totally cool. We can like just mess around and like go out every once in a while. That's totes fine. And then all of a sudden this shit fucking happens.
Yeah, secretly she's taking a needle to the condoms, trying to figure out how she's going to, hold them in forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the type.
Dirty bitches.
So either way, summer rolls in quietly in Omaha. Before we get into that, we can really start talking some shit about people, and I'm just not ready for it right now. It's fucking late. They know who they are. So summer rolls in quietly. Dave is settling in, and the job at Big O Tires is still steady. He's not thinking about rebuilding his life anymore. He's actively living it. And Liz is part of that life now. I mean, not officially and certainly not labeled. She's just present. By the time June rolls around, they found their rhythm. Summer nights downtown become their thing. They bounce between bars with neon signs in the windows and sticky floors, the kind of places where nobody cares if you stay too long. What was that bar that we used to go to off of Mid Rivers? Not Mid Rivers, but off of Church Street? Church Street Bar and Grill in St. Peter's.
Yeah, that place is a hole.
That whole place is sticky.
That was the place that you go anytime that everything else was so full that you didn't want to go in there, or when you knew somebody you knew that you didn't want to see was going to be there. That was just the alternate spot.
Yep. Yeah, I miss that
place owes me $60.
I think I owe them $60.
They owe me, their ATM ate my money. I was trying to pull out $60 and the ATM never gave me my money or my card back. And I had to call the ATM company because they don't have control over that. And so they sent somebody. I got my card back, but the money says it was dispensed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, fuck you. You owe me $60 and the $3.25 convenience fee for using the damn ATM.
Yeah, you hear that, Church Street? You owe this bitch $60. Well, $63.75 to be exact. Anyway, so they sit there at these bars and they talk about motorcycles like it's a shared language, along with metal bands and sci-fi movies that only certain people appreciate. It feels niche in a satisfying way. When Dave introduces her to people, there's no awkward explanation. She's just there, easy to include. They don't spend every night together, but it's frequent enough that the routine builds on its own. Sometimes it's downtown drinks, sometimes it's takeout and movies at his place, and by September, it's simply assumed that she'll be around. And Dave likes it that way.
So 30 miles away in Macedonia, Iowa, a town so small it barely registers as a blip on the map, Carrie Farver is living what looks like a stable, tightly run life. She's working in tech, juggling deadlines, raising her teenage son, planning carpools like any other single parent. If you saw her then, you'd never guess she'd end up tangled in police reports and insane late-night Google searches. But she absolutely does.
She absolutely does. So October in Omaha is ordinary in a way that almost feels intentional. The heat backs off and people start wearing jackets again, thinking about Halloween decor instead of summer barbecues. Nothing about it suggests life is about to tilt sideways. And then Carrie Farver walks into Dave's auto shop because her vehicle needed service, of course. And this isn't some thunderstruck moment. No slow motion entrance with a wind machine and a soundtrack. She's there to get her car fixed and move on with her day. But Dave does find her attractive. He doesn't stray from his professional role at the time, though. He gets her car sorted and she gets the fuck out. End of story. Except a couple weeks later, he's scrolling on old Plenty of Fish and comes across her profile. He decides to shoot his shot, and he messages her. After some quick, hey, I remember you from the car place, back and forth, they agree to dinner on October 29th. That's kind of creepy, isn't it?
What, like the weird guy that helped fix your car is now messaging you randomly? Yeah, that's a little stalkerish. Even if it was coincidental, I would be like, wow, weird, creepy.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, thanks for the oil change, but I'm good. Like, I don't know. I feel weird about that. Maybe back in 2012, I'd be all about it. I have no idea.
I mean, that was 14 years ago. Think about where you were 14 years ago. Because I remember where you were 14 years ago.
I was in a fucking gutter behind the Starbucks.
You would have been like, fuck it. Yeah, that was
anyways.
less than 2012.
Yeah, hi. And here we are. We're alive. We fucking made it. Yeah, that was fun. That was good times. Lots of sticky floors. That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, they go on the date and it starts normally. Conversation flows. She's intelligent. She's sharp, grounded in a way that feels different. It isn't dramatic or rushed, and it feels like two adults discovering something that might actually be worth exploring. And then his phone starts buzzing. Once, twice, 3 times. He glances at it, flips it over, makes a small joke about someone being persistent, but the buzzing doesn't stop. It just keeps coming back, vibrating against the table like a small mechanical heartbeat that refuses to calm down. Well, guess who that is? It's Liz.
It's Liz.
Yep. Calling, texting, calling again and again and again. Dave takes a moment to respond. He tells her that he's on a date and he can't talk right now. And that seems to calm things down. And by the time dinner had ended, the date is still going exceptionally well. So they take the next logical step. They go back to Dave's apartment to continue their evening. And that's when the security doorbell starts ringing. Not once, not a hey, sorry kind of ring, but repeatedly. Like whoever is downstairs is absolutely committed to being acknowledged. And guess who it is?
It's Liz.
Good job. Why don't you tell us what she's doing? Yeah.
Well, she wasn't invited, that's for fucking sure. And she wasn't even expected. And yet, there she is anyway. It's Liz.
Can you imagine? He already said I'm on a date. And she's like, oh, well, that means that he needs me there.
I better get over there quick. This is casual.
Yeah. No shit. Like, oh, it's clear. It's casual. I can't.
It's Liz.
Okay. I'll shut up. Sorry.
Okay. Well, she's there anyway. And because apparently boundaries are more like suggestions to Liz. And to make it worse, she's fucking crying, acting like a complete child, saying she needs to get some of her things that she left in his apartment. Right. Okay, Liz. Okay.
Yeah. Right then, right now. It was just, I had to cry about it to get it right now.
That's the worst part.
Yeah. If you needed it that bad, you would have taken it with you, bitch.
It's probably a fucking hairbrush. Yeah. I need my brush.
I left my CDs.
Yeah. One sock is there. Anyway, so Dave tries to smooth it over. He explains to Carrie that he's been open and honest about his relationship boundaries with the crying lady at his door, and that it wasn't an exclusive thing that he had with Liz, and everybody knows the arrangement. Dave is actually relieved when Carrie doesn't argue or create a scene. She says she understands that sometimes things can be messy when you're dating. So since the night just got really fucking awkward, Carrie decides to leave so Dave can handle the situation. And as she's leaving Dave's apartment, she passes Liz in the hallway. The whole thing lasts maybe 10 seconds. They make slight eye contact. Carrie is leaving, Liz is entering. And then the encounter, if you want to call it that, is over. That's the only time those two women ever stand face to face in the same physical space. And apparently, 10 seconds is all it takes for a person to clock a problem they're going to remember for the rest of their life. Dun dun, dun 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 dun.
I usually know in 10 seconds if I like somebody or if I'm going to fuck with them forever.
I know the second I make eye contact with them, like immediately.
I mean, you wear it all over your face too. Like
yeah.
You don't care. And I know that I do it too, so I can't say much because I make sure they see those eye rolls and that brow coming down like ew. Like,
yeah, you have like the infamous like ew brow, and I love it.
Not everybody gets to see that though because I'm such a delight.
A lot of people see it. Maybe you don't know you're doing it. I swear to God, Holly, you do it all the time to people, and I absolutely love it.
Well, I'm glad that somebody appreciates my dirty looks because most people.
I know the people who are receiving them do not at all.
No,
appreciate.
People don't like them.
He did. Anyways, so talk about what happened after those two met in the hallway for approximately 10 seconds.
Okay, so after Liz gets her stuff and she leaves, Dave heads out too. He decides to reach out to Carrie. She's halfway home when her phone rings. Dave's calling, just checking in to make sure that she made it home okay. And then Carrie does something unexpected. She tells Dave to just come by her house and they can continue hanging out there uninterrupted. Dave, almost in shock, automatically just agrees.
Well, yeah, he's going to get that poon. Be there in a bit.
Yeah, I think he was just so excited that Liz didn't mess it up for him that night.
Yeah.
So, obviously he agreed. And when he got to her house, he brings up that awkward part of the evening. And Carrie says, it's not a big deal. We're not monogamous. We're not married. This is just fun. So there's no edge to it, no test, just a statement of fact. And that's how it began.
Huh. So it began incredibly awkwardly, but she is seemingly okay with it. Liz is clearly fucking not. And Dave is just like, I'm going to go where the vagina is.
She just wanted the D.
Yeah. Well, good for you, Dave. So by the first week of November, Carrie isn't just swinging by Omaha for dinner dates anymore. She has a demanding work project nearby, and suddenly that hour drive from Macedonia starts feeling like a personal attack. Why burn gas and sanity when there's an apartment in Omaha that already comes with a man and relationship momentum? So she stays. The relationship shifts from fun to full immersion almost overnight. Dave later calls it intense but exciting, which is code for I stopped thinking about consequences because this felt good. And it came on fast, and he didn't bother to fight it off. He really liked that this was going in a good direction. And then came the shift.
He was thinking with his dick, not his brain. Just saying it.
Well, yeah, all guys do. I never assume they're thinking with their brains at any point in time.
Fair.
Yeah. So, and then came the shift, a grind in the gears, if you will. On the morning of November 13th, Dave woke up early for his shift at the auto shop, and Carrie was still there, already moving through her morning routine, laptop open, phone nearby, getting ready for her own workday just 3 blocks away. He kissed her goodbye and he left for work. It felt like every other morning in those past 2 weeks, but then, around 10:30 a.m., his phone buzzed, and it was a text from Carrie. Hey, we should move in together. Dun 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 dun.
I mean, it's casual. Why wouldn't you move in together?
Right. How come none of these bitches realize when he says casual, they're both like, I want to move in. Wow, I need my shoes. Like, I don't get it.
Because women don't want casual. They
No.
just don't. And I mean, there's probably a few that do. Let's be real. There's probably a few, but really, the guy wants it to be casual. Just let it be casual. I mean,
Yeah, don't agree and then get upset when all of a sudden the casual is actually casual.
yeah, it makes things messy. So anyway, so she wants to move in. And to Dave, it lands wrong immediately. And he's like, whoa, slow down. We talked about this. I'm just not ready for that. Let's just keep things as they are. And what he gets back is anger. The kind of rage that doesn't feel like a conversation. It feels like a switch had been flipped. An absolute mental meltdown. And he's left trying to make sense of how quickly someone can go from normal to nuclear through a screen. Like, he started getting texts like, fine, fuck you. I never want to see you again. That kind of thing. He eventually tells her, fine, if that's how you feel, then leave. And the abusive texts from her continue. They even intensify. I hate you. You've ruined my life. You're a terrible person. I'll do what I can to make you suffer. And the incredibly ominous, I have my own key. I will come and go as I please.
Oh, yeah,
Blown
casual. The usual casual texts.
Yeah, clearly there's no feelings there.
Mm-mm.
So, blown away by the sudden 180 personality shift, Dave goes home for lunch. He unlocks his apartment door and steps inside, and there's silence. To his relief, Carrie has actually packed her things and left. He feels like he's dodged a bullet, and he believes that he actually dodged that bullet. But that would make this stroll through Crazy Town way too easy, because this gun, it had way more rounds in the magazine.
Oh, it sure does. Click, click, fucking boom.
Nice.
So that night, Dave calls Liz. The angry texts from Carrie are still sitting in his phone like unexploded grenades. Liz comes over without hesitation, not crying this time, I would presume. And she doesn't interrogate him. She doesn't press the subject. She just sits close and listens while he tries to make sense of how a casual relationship can go from intense to nuclear in a single morning. And then the messages begin multiplying. Carrie even tells him she's moving to Kansas City to start a new life away from him. At first, it feels like fallout, a woman scorned, a breakup gone ugly. But the tone sharpens quickly. The texts aren't just angry, they're pointed. They reference where he is, who he's with, and what he's doing. Oh, and there are emails, too. longer, rambling, furious. They hit at odd hours and they feel immediate. Liz's phone starts lighting up too, with threats and accusations and warnings, and the strangest part is the timing. They'll be sitting on the couch together. Another message from Carrie, something that references the exact place they were earlier that night, a comment about them being together, about watching them. The threat must be somewhere close. Outside, across the street, down the block, watching through a window, who the fuck knows? But Carrie is not just angry, she's fucking lurking. They'll leave a bar downtown, get back to the apartment, and within minutes, a text arrived describing where they are, what they're wearing, and who they were with. Liz leans into that fear with him. She doesn't dismiss it. She talks about being careful, staying alert, and about how scary it is that someone could go this far. So Dave and Liz are in this together now, bonded by the harassment and by the stalking. He starts scanning parking lots when he leaves work, looking at cars twice and wondering if someone's watching him. He feels exposed, and he feels Liz is the only person who understands the scope of it. God, that'd be fucking terrifying.
I mean, yeah, the only interaction between Liz and Carrie had been that 10-second pass each other in the hallway kind of thing when that first night that he had that date with Carrie. If that's the only time he had ever, or they had ever had any kind of an exchange, how did all of a sudden Carrie has Liz's phone number?
Well, remember, Carrie works in tech, apparently. I don't know what kind of tech, but if she's tech savvy, she could easily figure that out, or she could have gotten it out of his phone when he wasn't looking. I don't know.
Sketchy bitches.
Very sketchy bitches. So casual.
Yep. Okay, meanwhile, remember that Carrie says she's in Kansas City now, so she's 3 hours away. She says she's taken on a new job, making $100,000 a year. She says that she needs time. She doesn't want anyone contacting her right now. She's overwhelmed. She needs space. This is where her mom, Nancy, comes into the picture. Nancy becomes increasingly worried about her daughter after the text she received about the move. She's worried the sudden personality flip and outburst is due to Carrie's bipolar disorder. She's worried that Carrie is maybe off of her meds, which in turn means she's off her rocker. Though Carrie is in contact via text and email, Nancy decides to file a missing person report on November 16th, 3 days after Carrie left Dave's house. This wasn't a hasty decision because Nancy knew Carrie was a grown woman who could make up her own mind about her own life. But it was the fact that she didn't initially take her son with her, but was in contact about retrieving him at a later date. That just seemed incredibly out of character for any mother. So Nancy felt like she had no choice. She was scared for her daughter's mental health and her general well-being. This is what initially brought the police into this whole terrifying and unstable situation.
And I just want to say that she was going to go and retrieve her son at a later date, like it was some kind of lost suitcase somewhere. I'm going to go back and get it later. Thanks for finding it for me.
Yeah, you don't just leave behind your children. Like, oh yeah, I'll be back.
But I mean, I guess if she was off her medication, maybe it was best that he didn't go with her. Especially if all this shit's happening.
I mean, for the sake of the child, I agree. But at the same time, how sad is that? The kid's just sitting at grandma's house waiting for mom to come home to pick him up. And he's not like a little kid. He's a teenager. So he already knows. He knows something's off.
Yeah, I'm sure that his grandmother is taking the time to kind of explain to him what could possibly happen if she's not taking her medication and easing his mind a little bit about it. But so basically all of that we just went through, that was the backstory here. So that's leading up to all of these juicy little bits that I'm sure you guys are all actually here for. So we're going to break it down, all of the horror that Liz and Dave endured after Carrie left his apartment on November 13th, 2012. And I made sure to put that full date in there because this goes on for 3 fucking years. All poor Dave wanted was a friend with benefits, and what he ended up with was an absolute psychopath. So let's begin after the insane amount of text messages and emails started, and after the police are on the lookout for a missing person. And those texts and emails, though, they didn't stop throughout this entire case. So keep that in mind with all of the rest of these things we're going to go over. The digital torment was very much alive and in the picture. Also, Following Nancy's report, investigators from the, this is my favorite, the Pottawatomie County Sheriff's Office contacted Dave as part of their missing person protocol. Pottawatomie.
I was waiting to see if you were going to butcher it.
No, I'm not going to butcher something like Pottawatomie. It's too fun. But so this was the moment that Dave realized that while he thought she was just a crazy ex, her family considered her a missing person. But he informed the police of the hundreds of stalking-like texts and emails he and Liz had been receiving, insinuating that she was not missing, but possibly just hiding from what she was doing. And then things turn physical.
So the first physical act lands in late 2012, just 2 weeks after Carrie supposedly had left for Kansas City. Liz reports to Omaha police that her garage had been broken into and spray painted with the words, quote, "Whore from Dave." If Carrie moved, why is she suddenly back in Omaha vandalizing property? For Dave, this is the first hard proof that the woman flooding his phone with threats isn't just angry. She's nearby, escalating and dangerous. Then, in early December, Dave walks out to go to work and he finds his car in bad shape. If that's what you want to call it. You know, all 4 tires are slashed. Carved into the side of his vehicle is one word, whore. And this happens multiple times, to the point that his coworkers start feeling pretty bad for all the money that he's spending on the tires.
Whore.
Dave and Liz are in... Thank you, Kat.
You're welcome.
Dave and Liz are in frequent contact with Omaha police throughout the month to report these incidents, consistently naming Carrie Farver as a person causing all this havoc in their life. Nothing's being done. And then the texts and the emails just keep rolling in. She's a whore. You shouldn't be with somebody like that. I see you. You're sitting in your chair.
Yeah, you whore. Sitting in your chair like a whore.
That's what whores do. They sit in the chair.
Oh, God. You know, she should be at least a little bit more, like, clever with what she's carving into cars and spray painting on walls. Like, why is it whore? Like, find something better. Do better.
I mean, there's so many more. So possibilities are endless of how creative one can get with trying to be revengeful. Vengeful.
Just vengeful, I think it is.
What word do we use? Vengeful.
Vengeful? Yeah.
Bitch.
I think I would have gone with a solid skank.
See, I'm a fan of the word cunt.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can go with cunt.
I feel like that's a strong, sharp word that a lot of people don't like. And if you want a reaction, you call them a cunt.
You know, if you enunciate it, it's even better. Like, you're a cunt. If you enunciate it, you've just pissed off everybody around you.
You say it well.
Thank you. I've called a couple people the enunciated cunt.
I think I've heard it once or twice.
From me?
Yeah. Don't act surprised.
Well, so on January 8th, Dave discovers something mind-boggling. On his way to his apartment, he turns into the lot when something bright blue flashes in his peripheral vision. It's Carrie's Ford Explorer. It's unmistakable. But if she's in Kansas City, why is her car here? He snaps a photo of the license plate almost... Right, noted... I don't know what I would think. If I was going to pull in my parking lot and see my stalker's car parked there, I'd be like, what the actual fuck is this? I'd keep going.
I think I would go up to them. I would go up to them. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? I might have my 380 on me, or maybe my 39. I don't know.
I'd take a slingshot.
I don't have a 39 ever. What do you do? Throw a rock at her?
Fling a rock.
You have pretty tiny arms, though, Kat. I don't know if you've got that strength to like really draw back to make an impact.
You're going pretty fucking hard on me tonight, all right?
You're getting frail in your old age.
You're being kind of a cunt. You know that?
It comes with old age.
Either way, so he sees her car there. And, like I said, if she's in Kansas City, why the fuck is this thing parked in the parking lot? He snaps a photo of the license plate almost automatically, like he needs proof that he isn't hallucinating this whole thing. Then immediately he calls the Omaha Police Department. They come out and examine the vehicle inside and out. It's clean, no sign of foul play, no sign of anything. And then his phone buzzes while he's standing there, not later that night or an hour after he leaves, seconds after he calls the police. It's Carrie. I don't need that piece of shit car anyway. Keep it. I have a new one. It's fucking weird. I guess if you're making $100,000 a year in Kansas City, yeah, fuck that Ford Explorer. Bitch probably drives a Tesla now.
I don't think Teslas were really big yet.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's 2012.
Yeah, I think that's too new.
An Escalade. She probably drives an Escalade.
Yeah, that's about the 2012 Tesla.
Or a Hummer. So, his phone buzzes while he's still standing there. So she is close enough to know everything that is happening right then. And because the car was immaculate and Dave had a text explaining why it was still there, the police continued to view Carrie as a person who had simply chosen to drop off the grid. And let me just say this again because it is important. Dave calls the police about finding Carrie's car, and within seconds, he gets a text from Carrie explaining why the car is there. So either Carrie has the world's most impressive surveillance setup or something else is going on. But at this point, everyone is so deep in the narrative that Carrie is a stalker that no one questions it. The police are like, well, she texted you about it, so clearly she knows it's there. Case closed. Yeah, cool. Great work, guys. But, what about the threats and stuff?
Yeah, it's like they didn't even want to identify or recognize the fact there was a problem with Carrie, regardless of her vehicle being there and her not being there. The fact that she's been harassing and slashing tires and threatening and blowing up phones, emails, whatever, they're already looking for this woman, but they're just going to act like it's not a problem because they found her car and she's sending them a text saying, oh, I know it's there, keep it. So they're like, oh, well, she doesn't need it, so she's fine.
I mean, they're looking for her, but if you can't find her, how do you stop
Are they?
it? Well, I mean, at least in a missing person standpoint.
I don't know. Bitches be tripping.
Yeah, bitches be fucking tripping. Absolutely. So from this point, just so we can actually get through this whole case, we are going to speed things up and give you breakdowns of all the fucked up things that happened to Dave and Liz during 2013. If we did a separate full deep dive on each individual instance, you guys would be here for a week, and I do not want that at fucking all. So here is the detailed recap of their horrific year. Holly, I'm going to let you take this one.
Okay. The vandalism campaign. Throughout the spring and summer, Carrie targeted their shared spaces. Dave's auto shop was vandalized, and both of their vehicles were repeatedly keyed or had their tires slashed. The damage is constant. The harassment never stops, and then Dave is spending a fortune on tires. His coworkers are starting to look at him weird, and through it all, Liz is right there, experiencing that same terror. So then they have the fake obituary. So in one of the most chilling acts of 2013, Dave received a link from Carrie to a fake obituary for Liz, making it clear that Carrie was planning to kill Liz, which was fucking creepy at best. The obituary looks real. It has Liz's photo and it has details about her life. It's a death announcement for someone who is very much alive, but the message is clear, and that message is, you're next. Then there's Dave's brief breakup with Liz. So just before the arson in August, Dave tried to distance himself from Liz to see if the stalking would stop. Maybe if he's not with her, Carrie will calm down. Maybe this will all go away, when in fact it just brought it to one of the worst points in the case because Carrie does not calm down. She gets worse. And that's when the fire happens. Kat, tell us about the fire.
Yeah, the fire is awful. I hate this part. So this is about the night that the house burns. Dave's phone rings and Liz is screaming. He can barely make out the sentence except one word: fire. By the time he gets there, the sky over her neighborhood is stained orange. The house is toast. Flames are punching through windows, chewing through wood and drywall like it's nothing. Firefighters move with practiced urgency. and Liz is outside, and as soon as she sees him, she pulls him in and tells him that she saw Carrie running from the house with a gas can. She doesn't hesitate when she says it. There's no maybe, she is definitely certain. And the worst part of this tragedy is what was inside the house. Inside, her pets are trapped: 2 dogs, a cat, and a snake. Animals that had nothing to do with any of this human mess, and they didn't make it out of the fire. And that is just fucking disgusting. That someone is crossing a line like that. I can't, I really hate even saying that. Like, 2 dogs, a cat, and a snake just burnt alive in this house because of some vengeful bitch. It's absolutely disgusting. So, and Dave feels the guilt of this whole situation rise up like acid. If this is happening because he moved on, because he didn't handle things perfectly, because he underestimated someone's anger, then those innocent animals died basically because of him. And then another text message comes in, and it says, "I am not lying. I set that nasty whore's house on fire. I hope the whore and her kids die in it." And guess who that text was from?
I bet it was from Carrie.
It certainly was. It's Carrie.
Well, it's not Liz this time.
No, not this time. But Liz is once again crying, so there's that. So Dave stares at his phone, at the message, at the confession, and he thinks this woman is going to kill somebody. The police investigate the fire. It's ruled arson, obviously, and there was an accelerant used, obviously. Someone deliberately set this fire. And Carrie just confessed to that via text. So now the police are looking for Carrie Farver, not just as a missing person, but as a suspect in arson and possibly attempted murder. So now these things are escalating way out of fucking control. Way out of control.
I mean, it might be attempted murder, but I feel like it still should be. They should have thrown an animal cruelty in there. I would say that's murder, not animal cruelty. But
yeah, death row.
Yeah, because of the justice system, they would call it animal cruelty, but I don't even see that as an option here. She just gets arson.
I mean, they might tack that on later, but as of right now, I think they're more concerned about the attempted murder and arson, but who knows what might get tacked on later if they actually catch her.
Yeah. Well, so now Dave is just standing in the smoke of Liz's burned out house, looking at what's left of her life. And this isn't just some unstable ex sending dramatic messages anymore. This is now escalation. It's destruction. It's fucking dead animals. And in his mind, it traces back to one decision. It was him choosing somebody else. Emotional damage at its finest, the belief that this was preventable. The casual, detached energy he'd been so proud of dissolves. He's no longer the wild and free guy in the new city. He's a man trying to manage sanity. Meanwhile, the emails and the messages just never slow down.
Emotional damage. Had to throw that in there.
You're cute.
Thanks. So here's where we enter what I like to call the purgatory years. So the fire happens in August 2013, and then nothing changes. The harassment doesn't stop, the messages keep coming, the threats keep escalating, and the police, well, they're stuck. Because how do you catch a ghost? Carrie is everywhere and nowhere. She's texting from different numbers, she's emailing from different accounts, she's creating fake social media profiles, she's leaving physical evidence at crime scenes but never appearing on camera. She's threatening to kill people but never actually showing her face. The Omaha Police Department, they're doing what they can, but they're working with 2013 to 2015 technology and a suspect who seems to understand digital forensics better than they do. Every time they think they're getting close, the trail goes cold, and the messages just keep coming. I mean, we're talking about 50,000 plus messages over the course of 3 years. 50,000. That's an average of 45 messages per day, every single day for 3 years straight. I feel like that's not a lot.
It's not a lot?
I text my husband more than that when I'm mad.
I mean, being mad and sending a bunch of texts, I don't usually send a bunch. I usually send a few, and I make them really long.
Well, that's where you mess up, because men only comprehend one sentence at a time. So if you send one sentence at a time, they're likely to fucking understand.
Well, that's what you think. Because I feel like it doesn't matter if it's a different point of view, they still don't get it. So anyway, the police keep investigating, And they interviewed Dave multiple times. They interview Liz, and they try to track down Carrie's location based off of the messages. But she's using VPNs. She's bouncing signals. She's covering her tracks like somebody who knows exactly what they're doing. But you have to remember that she is in the technology field. And here's the thing that finally makes this more, and here's the thing that makes this even more frustrating. Carrie's family is still looking for her. Her mom, Nancy, has not given up. She truly feels that something's wrong. She knows her daughter wouldn't just disappear like this and wouldn't abandon her son, wouldn't throw away her entire life over a 2-week relationship with a mechanic. But every time Nancy pushes the police to investigate Carrie as a missing person, the police are like, but she's texting, she's emailing, she's clearly alive and just doesn't want to be found. Nancy's like, but this doesn't sound like my daughter. These messages don't sound like her. Something's not right. Something is wrong. And the police are like, well, we understand your concern, but without evidence of foul play, deal with it kind of thing. So around and around it goes. Meanwhile, Carrie keeps inserting herself into Dave's life in increasingly disturbing ways. Of course she does. Like,
Yeah, of course she is. It's casual.
yeah.
So now we're going to welcome in the year 2014.
Woo! Happy New Year.
Happy fucking New Year, everybody. And that's right, we're not done because Carrie is just getting started. So now we're in January of 2014. Dave is at his apartment with a guest, and they're just hanging out, having a normal evening, probably trying to pretend that their lives aren't a complete fucking dumpster fire. And then, crash. A brick comes flying through Dave's window. Glass is everywhere, the brick's on the floor, and Dave and his guest are understandably freaking the fuck out.
I mean, he probably met that person on Plenty of Fish, too.
Well, it might be a guy friend.
They didn't say.
Okay. And then, within seconds of this, Dave's phone buzzes. And guess who it is? Are you shocked about that at this point? Yeah, because neither the fuck am I. And surprise, it's Carrie with a creepy I'm watching you text to let him know that she's out there, watching, right now. So this goes beyond emotional warfare. This is now psychological war zone material. Dave calls the police again, and they come and they take a report and they're like, yeah, this Carrie person is really escalating. Yeah, well, no shit, Sherlock. She's been doing this for 2 years at this point. But here's where it gets so much worse because Carrie isn't just focused on Dave and Liz anymore. She's been watching, she's been paying attention, and she's figured something out. She's figured out that Dave still cares about Amy Flora, his ex-wife and the mother of his 2 kids. And even though Dave is Mr. Casual, no strings attached guy, he obviously still has some sort of feelings for Amy. So I can't wait to see what this fucking ends up like.
So Carrie starts targeting Amy, and the messages just start coming. Threats, vicious, nasty threats. Stay away from Dave. He's mine. I'm gonna fucking kill you. You know, the usual. But then it gets so much darker, and Amy starts receiving photos of her and Dave's children that had been taken through their own bedroom windows, like at night. Someone is standing outside of Amy's house in the dark, taking picture of Dave's children through their bedroom windows while they're asleep, and then sending those photos to Amy with threatening messages. This isn't just stalking anymore. This isn't just harassment. This is a direct threat against children. Children who have nothing to do with this. Amy is terrified, which is rightfully so. She goes to the police. She's like, oh, this person knows where my kids sleep. The person is watching my house. This person is threatening my children. And the police are like, yeah, we know about Carrie Farva. We're looking for her. Cool, great. Super helpful. I'm sure Amy feels so incredibly safe now. Dave is obviously losing his mind. Liz is losing her mind. Amy's losing her mind. Everybody's losing their fucking minds, and Carrie just keeps going.
I would be so fucking mad if somebody sent me a photo of my stepkids sleeping through their windows with threatening messages. My God. Please.
I mean,
try me.
Yeah, try me. We're gun people over here, just so the world knows.
Yeah.
We like our guns. We like to shoot our guns. And give me a fucking reason.
I I don't even know. There's so much that I could say about that, but I'm just going to keep going because I think everybody who's listening gets it. They know what we would both say about that shit. That's insane.
Yeah.
So,
Anybody who's a parent.
oh yeah, anybody who's a parent is seething right now. I guarantee it.
Agreed.
So, one day, after all of this, Dave gets a photo on his phone, and it's a woman bound and gagged in the back of a car. The message from Carrie is clear. This is what I'm capable of. I'm not just threatening anymore. I'm taking people. Like, is this real? Is this staged? Is Carrie actually kidnapping people now? Or is this just another level of psychological torture? Either way, the message is received loud and clear. She has gone from angry ex to arsonist to someone who is now implying she's kidnapping people. And everyone, Dave, Liz, Amy, the police, everyone is thinking the same thing. When is Carrie going to stop? What is she going to do next? And how the fuck do you stop someone that you can't even find?
I mean,
Jesus.
You can't. So by 2015, Dave
Wait a
has
minute,
been
wait a
living in a
minute.
state.
Hold on. So if she sent that text message photo of somebody tied up in her trunk, who volunteered for that photo if it wasn't real?
So that was what I was thinking. But yeah,
Okay.
as far as a volunteer, I don't think anybody volunteered for that. Although I feel like if I needed to take a picture to prove a point and I needed to tie up a friend and act like you were kidnapped, I'd be calling you. Yeah,
I'd
be
do it.
calling you and you would do it.
100%.
You like just
I'm
make,
like, fuck yeah. Come over. I'll make some pie.
you'd be like, get that MySpace angle though.
Yeah. Don't get my double chins.
Don't get my chins. Yeah. I could totally see you. Don't get the chins.
Wait, retake it.
Yeah. Let me see. Does that one look good?
Delete that.
Yeah. Delete it. Try again. I don't look dead
Anyways.
enough.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, by 2015, Dave has been living in a state of constant fear for nearly 3 years. His mental health is in the toilet. He has changed his phone number and email address so many times that he cannot recall the exact number at this point. So in February, he leaves Omaha and goes to Council Bluffs, Iowa. New address, new job, new start. He tells himself that the physical distance will break whatever invisible tether has kept this nightmare attached to him for years. And through it all, Liz is still there, his rock, his support system, and the only person who truly understands what he's going through because, well, she's going through it too. Except she's not. She is the one doing it. And in 2015, the police finally start to figure that the fuck out. Well, good. Here we go. Tell us about that digital shift, Kat.
Gasp. So here's where the investigation finally starts to turn. By 2015, investigators are essentially running two cases at the same time without fully admitting it. On paper, Carrie is a missing person. In practice, she's being treated like an active stalking suspect. They build what is basically a dual file. One tab labeled missing woman, the other labeled unhinged harasser, and the same name sits at the top of both. They've got boxes of evidence, thousands of messages, reports of vandalism, arson, stalking, threats, and they've got exactly 0 arrests because they can't find Carrie Farver. The case went cold. But they've also got something else. Spring 2015, a new investigative team who actually wanted to take a fresh look arrived. Investigator Ryan Avis and Sergeant Jim Doty. They aren't some old school cops who think the cyber is something kids do on MySpace. They understand IP addresses and they understand metadata. They are ready for a boots on the ground approach. So here's where it gets really good. Detectives Jim and Ryan have what can only be described as an epiphany, a light bulb moment, a wait a damn minute kind of revelation. They stop trying to find Carrie and they start asking a much better question. Was she ever out there at all? Gasp again.
I like how you say gasp.
Well, fine. That sounds stupid.
You're the one that put it in there.
Just saying. Anyway, so I mean, it only took them a couple of years to get there, but hey, I guess better late than never. Because once they make that shift, once they stop playing Carrie's game, everything changes, doesn't it, Holly?
Of course it does. So they do something wild, something revolutionary. They take all that digital activity and they line it up next to the physical world. And wouldn't you know it, there's a bit of an imbalance. Well, who would have thought? So on one side, Carrie is everywhere, but in the real world, crickets. No bank transactions, zero, zilch, like no job tied to her social security number. She's just independently wealthy, like living off the grid and like thriving on vibes alone. I doubt it. There's no medical records. There's no verified sightings or actual voice calls, and not one single person who can say, yeah, I saw her at the grocery store. Hey, that bitch cut me off in traffic. Fuck her. It's like she only exists inside of the screen, which is like weird, right? So for a supposedly living, breathing human being, like she's just gone. So once that delightful little thought lands, Jody and Avis do something that honestly should have happened way earlier. They go back to the data they had already had. They believe that Carrie is likely not alive at this point, but there's no body, so there's no crime. They had to be clever. So we have, yes. Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Sorry. So then we jump into the IT Olympics and enter now the real MVP, because the person who actually finds Liz, the one who connects all those digital dots, it's not Dodie and it's not Avis. It's somebody named Tony Cava.
I mean, Tony Cava in this really is the real MVP. And I actually heard on the documentary that I watched about this that he's on the spectrum. So he's like hyper focused on all of this data. It's insane what this guy does and how he figures this out. Like, I was flabbergasted at the work this dude put into this. Impressed, honestly, incredibly impressed. So Tony is the IT guy, the digital forensics brain at the Potawatomi County Sheriff's Office. And he doesn't care about your feelings. He doesn't care about emotional narratives or who feels victimized or who's crying on the witness stand. Tony cares about timestamps, IP logs, and device IDs. The boring stuff. The stuff that doesn't lie, though. So Tony goes back to those old phone downloads from 2013 because something about the volume of messaging doesn't sit right with him. I mean, think about it. If Carrie is alive, if she's really out there sending thousands of emails, texts, and Facebook messages, then those emails had to originate somewhere, right? They don't just materialize out of the ether.
You said the word ether. It's ether, as in Ethernet. It didn't just materialize out of the ether. It's ether. You dumbass.
That sounds so stupid.
I mean, you wrote it.
Yeah, but I didn't know how to say it. I meant to give this part to you. So either way, so these messages don't come out of fucking nowhere, okay? So Tony pulls the IP data. He traces one message, then another, and then dozens. And instead of hopping all over Kansas City or bouncing through random coffee shop networks like you'd expect from someone trying to stay hidden, the traffic starts pointing somewhere very specific, a residential internet connection in Council Bluffs, at a residence belonging to Todd Butterball.
What?
Tony blinks because Todd works for him. Todd is one of his own IT guys, a colleague, a county employee like himself. So naturally, Tony does what any good forensics analyst would do. He double checks and he runs it again. Now, mind you, he figured this out on a program that he created from scratch just for this purpose, to solve this case. And that's what I mean when I say this is incredibly impressive. He wrote a whole fucking computer program just to track her down, or really track Todd Butterball down.
Well, it was no mistake. The threatening messages from Carrie, the ones terrorizing Dave, the ones mocking the house fire, the ones that had been escalating for years, are being sent from Todd's home Wi-Fi. So Tony starts asking the right questions when he found the tea. Todd, it turns out, is dating Liz Gollier, Oh, and after Liz's house conveniently burned down in 2013, she moved in with him. She's been living there, sleeping there, using that internet connection daily. The woman they've been trying to catch, the stalker, the phantom, the person sending thousands of harassing messages, has been living inside the house of a law enforcement IT employee. Like, boom.
Gasp.
So she was sitting on a couch inside of his subordinate's house using VPNs, using proxies, masking her traffic just enough to muddy the trail, scheduling emails to send at precise times, including moments when she was physically standing next to Dave, reacting to them in real time as if she were shocked, horrified, scared. She even weaponized proximity. So, yeah,
And
crazy
yeah,
bitch.
and that's when the case she's fucking crazy. So that's when the case stops being about finding Carrie and it becomes about building a cage for Liz. Now, by late 2015, Liz senses something. For years, she's been perfectly comfortable letting everyone believe Carrie was alive and unhinged. And for what it's worth, that narrative worked. It gave her a ghost to hide behind, a convenient villain who could take the blame for everything. But once detectives start leaning towards homicide, once the word dead is actually spoken out loud in official conversations, the script has to change. So Liz does what Liz does best. She pivots. Suddenly, it isn't Carrie terrorizing Dave anymore. It's Amy Flora, the mother of his children. Liz presents the theory like she's finally connecting the dots, like she's been thinking about this for a while and it all just clicked into place. Maybe Amy was jealous, right? Maybe she couldn't stand another woman being in Dave's life. Maybe she killed Carrie after that 2-week fling and then impersonated her for years to keep Dave isolated and under control. Everyone knew this was absurd, like genuinely ridiculous. And for a brief, uncomfortable moment, police let it happen. They say, okay, tell me more. But not because they believe it, it's because they want to see how far she'll take it. So now they're playing a game with her, and I'm excited.
Yeah, they're trying to see how much he's going to give up.
Yeah, that's some petty shit, and I'm for it.
Yeah, that's the fun part. That's the fun part. Like, that's when you know you already got somebody in a lie, but you want to see how much more they're going to lie about before you throw at them that you know the truth. Like,
Yeah,
just,
it can make them feel really dumb at the end.
yeah, like, good for them.
Yeah,
For once,
I
the
love it.
law enforcement's actually doing something. Yeah, I like
Like
the way that they
actual
do this.
gold star Potawatomi. Gold star.
So, December 5th, 2015 happens. So, in Liz's eyes, arresting Amy is taking too long. When the police aren't arresting her fast enough for the harassment and the stalking, Liz decides to up the urgency. She calls 911 from Big Lake Park. There's been a shooting. I've been shot. Oh my God. So she says that Amy shot her in the leg. The story comes fully formed. She was there. Amy had confronted her. There were gunshots, the whole dramatic scene. And here's the detail that makes Detective Doty and Avis's eyebrows lift so high they practically leave their faces. The day before, as in 24 hours earlier, Liz had told them that Dave's 9mm Smith & Wesson handgun was missing. She suspected Amy had stolen it. And that's a lot of foresight, Liz. So when Doty and Avis actually look at the wound, something just feels off. The angle, the trajectory, and the way that the bullet traveled through her leg. It doesn't look like chaotic confrontation. Quite frankly, it looks like someone had shot themselves.
Yes, good eye. Good eye, guys. So here's the thing. They don't arrest Amy. Instead, they set a trap. They tell Liz that they believe her. They say they think Amy shot her. They're this close to making an arrest. They just need a little bit more from Liz. They need specifics about Carrie's death to make the case airtight. They need Amy to incriminate herself. Can Liz help? Well, of course she can. And within hours, emails start rolling in. This dumb bitch. And these emails are reportedly from Amy. And in these messages, Amy confesses to everything: shooting Liz, stabbing Carrie 3 or 4 times in her own car, stuffing her body into a garbage bag, burning it. The emails are detailed, graphic, and they're specific. too specific for Liz's own good, because in one of those confessions, the crime scene is identified as Carrie's vehicle. And that detail, that one little slip, sends detectives straight back to the blue Ford Explorer. This time, they pull back the front seat upholstery and nothing. They pull back the passenger seat upholstery, and there it is. Soaked into the foam is Carrie's blood, enough for investigators to say that she has been unalived. But there was still no body.
Within hours, you magically get an email that says all this. Like,
numerous emails.
Come on, bitch.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's Liz.
But there's still no body.
She's such a fucking idiot.
So once the blood is found in the car and the digital trail starts circling Liz, the tone inside the investigation changes completely. The detectives stop humoring her. Up until then, they played along, but once they confirm Carrie's blood is inside that passenger seat and lock down the IP data, the patient stops abruptly. They tell her they don't believe Amy shot her. They make it clear that the park shooting just doesn't add up.
And the false report does something Liz never intended it to do. It hands them probable cause, filing a false police report, staging a shooting, lying about an attempted homicide. That's not just messy drama, that is actually criminal. And with that leverage, investigators obtain warrants for electronic everything, not just the devices she'd previously allowed them to see, not just the curated screenshots she'd forwarded as a victim. They get to see everything. And once they have unrestricted access to her digital life, the illusion that lasted 4 years begins collapsing at machine speed. And this even includes an old tablet of hers that she no longer used. She must have forgotten about it. Sucks to suck, Liz, because it's going to get really bad for you now.
So once Liz's electronics are seized, Tony Cava does what he does best. He runs forensic carving software designed to dig through digital graveyards, the places where deleted files linger like bones under the soil. Because here's the thing about the digital evidence that criminals never quite grasp. Deleted doesn't mean it's been destroyed. It just means it's hidden. And Liz, well, she thought she'd cleaned it up. She deleted the worst of it, wiped what she could, probably felt pretty clever about it. But Tony's not looking for what she kept. He's looking at what she has erased. Now, the device that matters, the one that changes everything, it's not her laptop. It is that old tablet.
Yeah, and this tablet is one that she'd actually given Dave years earlier during one of those ordinary relationship device swaps. Like, here, babe, I upgraded, you can have this one. And he'd boxed it up and tossed it in storage and forgotten about it completely. And inside that tablet is an SD card, and Tony carves through it. There is thousands of deleted thumbnails that begin surfacing. Selfies, photos of her cats, random junk, screenshots of nothing important. And then he sees it. A blurry image at first, and then a little clearer. And it was a decomposing human foot and part of a thigh lying on a blue tarp. And there's a distinctive tattoo, the Chinese symbol for mother. Investigators compare it to photos of Carrie taken while she was alive, and it's the same tattoo, same placement. It's exactly the same one.
That image does what 4 years of text could not. It proves she's dead. And it proves someone close enough to photograph her body, someone with access to her remains, took the time to document it.
What an idiot. What a fucking idiot.
Like, why would you take a picture?
Like, I don't know. I mean, I saw the picture
all.
And it looks like it might have been accidental maybe, but like, why is your tablet out when you're murdering someone?
Thank you. I was going to say it. I'm like, why do you even have the tablet out? Like, even if it was
aren't you busy?
Maybe she was trying to Google ways to destroy a body and hit a button.
Fucking maybe. This is stupid. So by the time winter rolls in again, the case is no longer theoretical. They have Carrie's blood soaked into the passenger seat foam of her SUV. They have Liz's fingerprint on a mint container inside that car, proving she was inside the vehicle, which she denied, by the way, because she's fucking stupid. And they have IP addresses tracing years of harassment back to her devices. And now they have a photo of Carrie's decomposing body stored on media Liz once controlled. It's a no-body case, but it's not an empty one. On December 22nd, 2016, detectives go to Liz's home in Persia, Iowa, and they just knock on the door and arrest her for first-degree murder. And for the first time since November 13th, 2012, for the first time in over 4 years, the story stops being about a stalker. It stops being about a missing woman, harassment, fear, and digital ghosts, and becomes what it always was, a murder.
So Liz Gollier goes to trial in 2017. This was a non-jury trial, just Liz, her lawyers, the prosecution, and a judge who had to sit through all the evidence. The judge listens to it all, reviews the forensics, sees the photos of Carrie's decomposed body, complete with that distinctive tattoo found on Liz's own SD card. Then the judge delivers the verdict. Guilty of first-degree murder and guilty of second-degree arson.
Gasp.
I mean, the second-degree arson, wouldn't that have been on her own house? Because she lit her own shit on fire. So
Well, yeah, that's still considered arson.
I know, but like that makes me hate Liz even more. She's the reason those puppies and cat are dead.
I've hated her since she showed up crying at this dude's fucking door.
I could back it up a little bit more to when she was blowing up his phone when he was on his date.
Yeah, that's true too. So the judge calls the evidence against her overwhelming, which is a polite way of saying, ma'am, we have a literal photo of the victim's body on your personal electronics. What exactly are we doing here? And yet the evidence was so damning, so meticulously documented, that the state didn't need a body to convict her. Because when you spend 3 years pretending to be your victim, leaving a digital trail so obvious it might as well have neon signs, kind of done the prosecution's job for them.
So Liz is sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for murder, plus an additional 18 to 20 years for arson, which, let's be honest, feels a little bit like an overkill at that point. Life without parole is already the end game, but sure, like let's tack on an arson charge. Why not? She earned it. I mean, to be fair, I've seen enough criminal investigations. Like, have you seen some of those documentaries where, oh, you get 4 life sentences plus 180 years? 180 years on top of 4 life sentences? Like, let's be a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, they're handing out years in prison like Oprah hands out cars.
Yeah, it just, I understand, like.
But I've also seen it to where someone gets sentenced to life in prison and then there's an appeal made and then that changes. Like, look what happened our last case, the Martha Moxley case. It could somehow get overturned or whatever else, but even if that's the case, they'll still have that 18 to 20 for arson.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Anyway, so Liz Gollier is currently serving her sentence at the Nebraska Correctional Center for Women. And here's where it gets almost poetic in its absurdity. Despite everything, Liz maintains her innocence. From prison, she's written letters claiming that, quote, the real killer is still out there. You got the wrong guy.
So now that she can't send everything digitally, she just hand writes her own shit. I still have to send messages to somebody. Now I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, she needs to make sure that people hear her. She has to have some control somewhere.
I guess. I mean, it's a bold strategy. I'll give her that, because the real killer, she's in a cell. Sail. What the fuck? Honky tonk.
There's your country twang. You honky tonked.
I sure as fuck did. So she's in a cell, serving life without parole. The real killer got caught because she couldn't stop playing the role of her victim long enough to realize she was leaving evidence everywhere. In 2018, Liz filed an appeal to overturn her conviction. It failed. And now she sits in prison insisting the real killer is still out there. While the rest of us know exactly where the real killer is, she sits right the fuck where she belongs. And that's the end of that one.
I mean, I kind of want to know what happened to Carrie's body. Like, they said it was never found. But, like, they're never going to get that answer from Liz if she's still trying to say that she's innocent, even though they've got all this evidence against her. Usually, at some point, through a lot of these investigations, they'll, like, try to make a deal or something.
She did say. She said in one of those confession emails from, quote-unquote, Amy, that she burned the body.
Right. But where did it go? Like, you can burn a body, but it's not going to burn the bones.
Well, let's see. Shall we?
Unless The only way you're going to get it if it was burned and it got through the bones would be like in an incinerator.
Oh, it does say that she disposed of the remains, but it doesn't say that they ever found out where. Yeah. Either way, just kind of fucked up. But
to get a good ending, I would like to know where it was, like what happened. But you didn't get that.
Well, we're about to get a really good ending because do you know what time it is, Holly? It's time for my favorite part.
What's your favorite part? Go ahead and do your little song and dance.
Why this case is a hot mess. All right, here we go. You don't look pumped at all. You never do. You never fucking do. And I know you're not hungry because you fucking ate.
I don't know why, but when you get all excited, it really pulls me down.
God, you hate when other people are happy. That's amazing. That's fantastic. So this case is a hot mess for 3 very specific reasons. 1, a love triangle turned into a psychological thriller. Number 2, reality got rewritten in real time. Fake emails, fake texts, fake accounts, entire conversations fabricated to make one woman look unhinged while the real architect sat quietly behind a keyboard. And number 3, everyone believed the wrong story. For years, the narrative was that Carrie was volatile, obsessive, unstable, and meanwhile, the actual villain was constructing that image piece by piece. Holly, what do you got to say about that?
This is what makes me want to flip a folding table. You have 2 adults dating. Fine, a little messy. Sure, that's life. But instead of processing jealousy like a normal person, Liz said, I'm going to create an alternate universe where I'm the victim and she's the monster. And she didn't just dabble in it. She committed. Emails, threats, fake identities, long-term dedication to chaos like it was a salaried position. The hot mess isn't just the obsession. It's that she was so convincing that everybody bought it.
Excellent analysis. Yeah, that was great. Good job. You're getting better. Oh, all right. Well, fuck you too then.
I messed that up so bad.
Don't worry. I'll edit it for you. Anyways, I thought it was good analysis. I think that was fantastic, and I'm super excited about it, and I don't give a fuck if that makes you upset. And make sure you're following Hot Mess Murder Club anywhere you get your podcasts. New episodes drop every Monday for your ear holes to enjoy. And remember, if someone is working harder to control the narrative than to live their own life, that's not a relationship, that's a setup. Okay, that's it. Stay safe, stay feral, and get the fuck out of my house. Goodbye.
Bye.
Say bye, Kiki.